listen, life is probably not going to get so calm that you never have to worry about a bill or somebody fighting somewhere in the world or the price of oil or whatever is in your head right now. Number one, stop watching the news. It'll help a lot. Number two, invite Jesus into the middle of the thing that's freaking you out. Because his presence there is where peace comes from. He brings peace to the middle of the situation, even if the situation doesn't change. Jesus offers perfect peace because he offers himself, but so many of us are too busy to notice that if we would just grab hold of him, we could have peace. And so right now, if you're lacking peace, get closer to Jesus. If you feel like your heart is chaotic and in turmoil, like your circumstances are out of control, yes, pray that God resolves the situation. Pray for the miraculous. Go out and live and love like Jesus, the best that you practically can. But in the meantime, would you spend all of your energy, all of your focus, all of your passion getting closer to Jesus, because it's only in his presence that you're going to find peace. His presence always brings peace. And so in growing close to Jesus, you're moving closer to peace because he calms us with his presence. And I love that the book of Acts just tells this story of heroes rising up, fueled by his presence and promise, giving them peace in difficult times, not because it was easy, but because it was hard and they were close to Jesus so they could have peace. He gives us peace and calms us with his presence. Number two, he calms us with his words. Jesus calms us with his words. He spoke the words, "Peace be with you." Some translations say, "My peace I give to you." Now, the crazy thing about this that was calming was the circumstances didn't change. People were still after the disciples. They still wanted to kill them. In fact, of all the disciples in this room, all of them, except for John, are going to die for their faith. They're going to be martyred. They're going to be murdered just for following Jesus, and John's going to be boiled in oil and then exiled to an island. So their circumstances, being fearful of what people will do to them, have not changed. But Jesus' words give them peace. They're no longer living in fear of those circumstances. Jesus is literally saying, even in dying, you were safe with me. God didn't change any of their circumstances. Instead, he spoke peace into the middle of their circumstances. And here's something I didn't really understand until I went to Israel. When people say things like shalom, it's a greeting. It's kind of the farewell to you, right? Shalom literally means peace. But again, it's not the absence of strife. It's not like American peace, like 1960s, like give peace a chance, end the war. Like that's what we think when we say peace. Like if things are quiet, but literally peace says, may all of your body be full of well-being. May health and prosperity be upon you. Shalom is about peace with God and peace with each other and peace with yourself. It has nothing to do with your circumstances. So when God brings peace, it's less about what's going on and more about who he is and what he gives you. And so when he says peace be with you, he means God is for you. And so we can grasp this idea that peace comes from his promises. Peace comes from his promises. The more we know his word, the more we know what Jesus promises us. Jesus says, may God's peace be with you. He's saying, may every good gift come to you. May you be totally spiritually and physically well. May in every way you receive God's goodness. Peace be with you. And we have to let that wash over us and let that kind of speak to us to know that he's not just with us with his presence, but he is for us. That's what his word says, that he has promised us, and his promises do not fail. He has an excellent track record. And so we can anchor our hearts in his word and trust him now in the middle of the circumstances because his promises are good. He's up to something now. He's still seeking to give you good gifts now. He's still seeking to accomplish things in you right now in the middle of what's going on because he gives you peace through his promises, through his word, because his character is good. You can rely on it. If I promise to give you $1 million, kind of useless. Don't have $1 million. If God promises to give you $1 million, he has it and he is trustworthy. And everybody wants $1 million. Nobody wants to live like the disciples. But his promises are, he is for you. He does not abandon you. And so most of us, why don't we believe that God is for us? Honestly, the number one question that Jesus asked in the Gospels, if you read along, is, have you read? Usually to the religious people, have you read? The reason why most of us don't take Jesus at his word and find comfort and peace in it is that most of us are ignorant of his word. I know I am. Honestly, I can quote The Office better than I can quote the Bible. And Michael Scott did not die for my sins. But I know those words. If you want to know God and the peace that comes only from him, You have to know him as revealed in his word. That's how you know his promises. That's how you know what he said to you. Not what some preacher told you, not what somebody else said to you, not what a devotional says that took a shortcut and cut out this much of the verse. Read his word so that you understand the peace that can come from his promises. Maybe we don't experience calm in the middle of what we're going through because we don't bring God's word with us. And if we don't have God's word, we believe someone else's word. We believe the world's word. We believe the culture's word about ourselves. We believe what our peers say about us. They give us an identity. We believe ourselves, and I'm the guy who got me into this mess. I shouldn't believe me. We believe the lies of the devil, and God's word is the only thing that can combat that. God's word can't comfort you if you don't know it. And so Jesus walks into the room and he gives peace through his word. If we want peace in the middle of our circumstances, we need to know his word. They heard Jesus' words and it changed everything but their circumstances. But they still found comfort, joy, and peace because they knew Jesus could deliver on his words. So his presence, his words, and they were calm, number 3, by his wounds.